Coming up on RMU-Live, Kennywood announced that the logjam will be closing. Stay tuned to find out more about its latest developments. And the 69th annual Emmys were yesterday. We'll have the winners coming up. And lastly, the Steelers have a dominating performance over the Minnesota Vikings. All of this will be on RMU-Live coming up.
Good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, September 18th, 2017. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm Logan Carney. Here's what's happening now.
Today, we start the show with heavy hearts. Robert Morris University lost a member of its student family over the weekend. Saturday night, Joshua Merriman, a senior finance major, left our family here at Robert Morris. Joshua was a valued member of the Division III club ice hockey team. University President of Robert Morris, Chris Howard, released a statement to students in an email today that read, quote, "This is a devastating loss to Joshua's friends and family. I ask that you please keep them in your thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. The entire RMU community shares in their grief," end quote. Our entire staff here at RMU Century Media sends our thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of Joshua. Kennywood's Noah's Ark won the Best Funhouse Walkthrough Attraction Golden Ticket Award for the 8th year in a row by Amusement Magazine. Last season, the attraction received a makeover to restore its original style. I went down to Kennywood Park this weekend to learn more about the award, as well as the ending of a fan favorite attraction. We're here at Kennywood Park in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, where Kennywood just received an award from Amusement today for the best walkthrough attraction in the world for Noah's Ark. This is the 8th straight year they won this award. Now, in addition to winning an award, the park just announced a few days ago that they will be taking out an historic ride 42 years ago, the Log Jammer.
The Ark really is a one-of-a-kind ride. You know, at one point there were a lot of rides that were Noah's Ark's rides at different parts of the country and the world. Nowadays, Kennywood's is the only one left, and with the effort that we've taken to preserve and restore the ride last year to really be the retro style of the past, it's a great attraction and a very unique attraction. Noah's Ark was built in 1936, and like many rides like that, walkthroughs and dark rides, you have to change it every so often to keep it fresh and keep it up to date. And so what we did last off-season in 2016 was we really wanted to say, let's take this back, to kind of an old school style. The updates before that and try to make it a little more modern, a little more high-tech. What we found from our guests is that they didn't really want that as much as they wanted the old school, kind of retro, maybe even a little cheesy Noah's Ark style.
In addition to Noah's Ark winning Best Walkthrough Attraction in the world, Kennywood's sister park, Idlewild and Soakzone, located in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, won Best Child's Park in the world for the 8th year consecutively. Idlewild and Soakzone released a statement saying, "While Idlewild and Soakzone appeals to people of all ages, it is especially appealing to families with young children. We go to great lengths to carefully balance our low-tech classic attractions such as Storybook Forest and Jumpin' Jungle with unique experiences like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and the excitement of the Soakzone Water Park." The Pittsburgh Amusement Park also announced last week that it would be retiring its first $1 million attraction, the Log Jammer. The Log Jammer has been a mainstay at Kennywood Park for 42 years.
It's been really tough the last several days and the last several weeks as it looked like this might be a possibility, and then we did get word officially that we were going to do this, and we were able to share that with our guests. It's a tough decision. It's been a treasure ride here for a long time. Of course, the name of our game here at Kennywood is to preserve and maintain unique and historic rides. We do that with a lot of attractions, but we also have to move forward and stay up with the cutting edge and stay modern.
The park hasn't directly announced what they will do with the area that the Log Jammer takes up now, but plans are in the making.
We're weighing options. We're getting a lot of proposals in for what might come in the future. We haven't locked it in yet, so to speak, so we're not able to share anything, and hopefully we're excited to do that in the coming in the future.
Although there's no definite plan for what they're going to do with the area of the Log Jammer, the park has a lot of options and there's a lot of rumors flying around. Nick Paradise, though, hasn't given us any clues yet. Reporting from Kennywood Park in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media. For more information on the upcoming changes to Kennywood Park and coverage around the Pittsburgh area and Robert Morris University, be sure to visit RMUCenturyMedia.com.
The big homecoming game was on Saturday as the football team defeated VMI by a score of 23-0. This set the tone for the events of the weekend as the dance was once again a success. The dance was one of the last events at the Soul Center, so a good way to go out for the old arena. Robert Morris jumped 12 spots on U.S. News and World Report's annual Best Colleges list. Once number 188, RMU is number 176 this year. Scores for the school's first-year retention rate, graduation rate, small class size of fewer than 20, and perception among professionals grew from last year to this year. This was the biggest leap from all Pennsylvania schools on the list.
Saturday afternoon, a teenager was shot in Pittsburgh's Homewood neighborhood. The 15-year-old was shot twice while standing on the sidewalk. When officers arrived at the scene, all they found was a home struck by a bullet. 21-year-old Devon Allen Trowell of Wilkinsburg was killed in a shooting the next morning. Emergency crews responded to the call at 12:45 a.m. Trowell was pronounced dead at UPMC Presbyterian Hospital.
Scary news coming after the University of Pittsburgh football game Saturday afternoon after a bystander chased a vehicle with 3 men suspected of shooting a 4-year-old girl in the head and wounding 2 adults. Police arrested 24-year-old Rico Green, 21-year-old Taiwan Sanders Davis, and 17-year-old Deontay Hollinger, who is charged as an adult. Victims were 57-year-old Marilyn Black and 23-year-old Jacqueline Green, along with the 4-year-old girl.
The annual Farm Aid Music Festival has come to the Pittsburgh area for the second time this past weekend. Founder of Farm Aid, Willie Nelson, opened a day-long festival of music and celebration at the KeyBank Pavilion. Farm Aid has raised $52 million since the year 1985, and in the year 2017, Farm Aid focused on Western Pennsylvania's organic dairy and urban farmers. Ayanna Jones was among those who were honored for her work on urban gardens and for her work in the east end of Burgettstown. Coming up next on RMU Live, Apple unveils a new product lineup.
And we recap the record-breaking night at the Emmys, so stay tuned.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Her final exam started 10 minutes ago. She'll wake up hungover and won't remember what happened last night. Extreme behaviors have extreme costs.
Welcome back to RMU Live. The 69th Primetime Emmys were on CBS last night. The Emmys were hosted by Late Show host Stephen Colbert, who decided to go with a political theme for his jokes, including a guest appearance by the legendary Sean Spicer. A lot of history was made last night as The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu became the first streaming show to win a major award. It won 8 Emmys, including all 3 handed to female acting in dramas and Outstanding Drama Series. Big Little Liars also won big with 3 Emmys. Julia Louis-Dreyfus set history yesterday as becoming the second actress to win 8 Emmys with her 6th consecutive win for her show Veep. Also making history was Donald Glover, who became the first African-American man to win an Outstanding Director in a Comedy Series in history and the first to win Outstanding Actor in a Comedy Series since 1983. On a more somber side of the news, 2 buses collided in Queens early this morning. A Metropolitan bus made a right turn and collided with a charter bus. 3 people were pronounced dead and more than a dozen are injured after the incident. The deceased, including the bus driver of the Metropolitan bus, as well as a passenger and a pedestrian who was discovered underneath the bus. The roads are still closed as they are trying to clean up the wreckage.
Former police officer Jason Stockley was acquitted in the 2011 shooting death of Anthony Lamar Smith on Friday. After the verdict, protesters and activists gathered outside of the courthouse and marched through the city's downtown for house chanting, quote, "No justice, no peace," end quote. Police say the protest began peacefully, but demonstrators later threw rocks at the mayor's home and smashed the windshield of a police vehicle. 4 officers were assaulted. Protesters attacked police, broke windows, and flipped over trash cans Sunday night. More than 80 people have been arrested, authorities have said. The demonstrations began peacefully, but erupted in violence after nightfall, according to officials Sunday. It was the 3rd night of protest after it was announced Stockley was acquitted in the killing of 24-year-old Anthony Lamar Smith.
British authorities arrested a 2nd man in connection of the bombing of a London Underground train on Friday. An improvised device exploded as the train arrived during the rush hour in the morning. 30 passengers were injured. The 21-year-old man was arrested late Saturday in Hounslow, West London. He was arrested under Section 41 of the Terrorism Act and remains in custody. A search is also taking place at a property in Stanwell, Surrey, in connection with the arrest. Both arrests are part of a major manhunt for this attack. The United Kingdom's terror threat level declined from critical to severe on Sunday.
Apple has announced their newest phones, iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, as well as the highly anticipated iPhone 10 at their annual Worldwide Developers Conference last Wednesday. Here's more on Apple's new product lineup.
On September 12th, Apple hosted their annual Worldwide Developer Conference in Cupertino, California. But this year, it wasn't just about the new iPhone, Apple TV, or Apple Watch. Apple debuted their brand new headquarters, Apple Campus, home of the new Steve Jobs Theater.
Apple Campus 2, or formerly known as Apple Park, is a 2.8 million square foot building consisting of 4 floors. The $5 billion campus sits on 175 acres of land in California and houses 12,000 employees, featuring 14,200 parking spaces.
Now, a few of the products Apple released was the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. They both come out for pre-order on September 15th, and they're available in stores a couple days after. Now, those run, the 8 is $699, and the 8 Plus, a little bit pricier. It's going to be $799, all with new cameras, wireless charging, brand new technology, they say. Now, the big product that they developed, the big one that they dropped, was Apple 10. It looks like an X, but it's Apple 10. Now, that product is pre-order available on October 27th, but it becomes available to the public in stores on November 3rd. It's the most expensive iPhone they have yet at $999 with a 5.8-inch Super Retina edge-to-edge screen with new OLED screens, which replaces the old LCD screens. Doesn't have a home button. That's probably the biggest thing that you're going to see different. It has Face ID, so you don't have to worry about the Touch ID like you do on regular iPhones.
Another new feature available on the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and iPhone 10 is animated emojis. These emojis will be animated using the Face ID recognition technology built into the phone. Users can use their face to make emojis that they popularly use react to real life.
Another big anticipated advancement in technology is the Apple Watch Series 3. Now, right now the Apple Watch, you have to have your cell phone on you within Bluetooth range, but this watch is going to be LTE enabled. You're going to be able to take it anywhere and just use your watch to make phone calls, send text messages, check your Snapchat, whatever it might be. That's the biggest innovation that they came out with. Now, Apple hosts this annual Worldwide Developers Conference every year. It varies on the time, but it's pretty much similar around this year, the fall, before the holiday season starts. Now, this year they really blew it out of the water, releasing 3 new phones, a new watch, a new streaming platform, a new speaker, not to mention a new iPad, and brand new operating systems for all of their devices. So Apple fans, you have something to look forward to coming up shortly. Reporting outside of Robinson Mall in Robinson Township, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media.
For more information on Apple's newest products and announcements, as well as news around campus and the Pittsburgh area, be sure to check out RMUCenturyMedia.com. The 4 American women attacked in Marseille, France, with hydrochloric acid early on Sunday are students at Boston College, said a spokesperson for the university. In a statement by the school, the students were studying abroad in Europe when the acid incident occurred around 11 a.m. local time Sunday morning at the St. Charles train station in Marseille. All of the students were apparently targeted by a 41-year-old woman with a history of psychiatric problems, according to authorities.
Louisiana State University suspended Phi Delta Theta's activities after freshman Maxwell Groover's death, which police believe to be a possible hazing incident. An autopsy on Friday showed Groover's blood alcohol level was highly elevated. This comes as Penn State University is going through a sadly similar trial involving Beta Theta Phi and the death of student Tim Piazza, who was also extremely intoxicated at the time of his death. Our thoughts and prayers go out to both victims' families. University police in Georgia are under state investigation after LGBTQ student Scout Schultz was shot and killed by university police. The police were there after responding to a report of a student having both a knife and a gun. Video has emerged of Schultz walking towards the officers, screaming, "Shoot me," while refusing to put down a knife. Schultz did not appear to have a gun, despite what was reported to the police.
When we come back from the break, we recap the Pittsburgh Steelers' first home game
and take a look at the weather for the upcoming for today and this upcoming week.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
In case you didn't keep count, those 2 Jello shots and 5 beers that I had with Greg really cost me. I mean, my license, $400 in court costs, $350 in other fees. My parents won't let me go on spring break until I pay back all the money that they lent me. Plus, I had to spend a night in jail. I have no car, so my friends have to chauffeur me around everywhere, or else I have to frickin' walk. And I mean, how uncool is that to walk anywhere?
Extreme behaviors have extreme costs.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Here's the latest updates in the world of sports. DMR tribute Steelers game, RMU homecoming game, Pirates suck, Pitt WVU. The Pittsburgh Steelers played a solid game at home against the Minnesota Vikings, recording a 26-9 victory over the Vikings to increase their record to a perfect 2-0. The biggest notable change from the Steelers played a much more disciplined game compared to the penalty-riddled game last week in Cleveland, where the team totaled 144 yards in penalties last week. The Steelers will be on the road next week to play the Chicago Bears. The Bears have yet to win a game.
The Steelers had a touching tribute to former owner Dan Rooney, who passed away this past summer. Before the Steelers' home opener on Sunday, quarterback Ben Roethlisberger came out of the tunnel holding a black and gold DMR Shamrock flag. Rooney was also featured on the team's game day booklet and the video boards. After the 26-9 win over the Minnesota Vikings, the Steelers gave the game ball to Dan's son and team president Art Rooney II, who planned to give the ball to his mother, Patricia. Former Steelers Mel Blount, Rocky Bleier, Joe Green, Franco Harris, and Brett Kiesel were among the tribute attendees. The Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, of which Rooney was a big fan, performed the national anthem. On Saturday, your Robert Morris Colonials took on the Virginia Military Institute Keydets at Joe Walton Stadium for their homecoming matchup. The Colonials defeated the Keydets by a score of 23-0. The Colonials improved to 2-1 on the year. Quarterback Jimmy Walker had a game to remember as his final stat line was 295 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Walker went through the concussion protocol midway through the third quarter, but returned during the game. Gerald Ferguson led the way for the RMU defense that posted their first shutout since 2010. Ferguson had 2 sacks and a fumble recovery in the game. Robert Morris will travel to North Dakota State this weekend.
The Pittsburgh Pirates delivered another loss yesterday in Cincinnati against the Reds to add on to their downhill season. The Pirates took another L after a 2-5 loss at Great American Ballpark. Their record now drops to 68 wins and 82 losses on the year. The Pirates, who have absolutely no chance of a postseason run, host the Milwaukee Brewers tonight at PNC Park with the first pitch at 7:05 p.m. Jamison Tyone will be on the mound for the Pirates. The Cleveland Indians' win streak came to a conclusion on Friday night. The Indians set an American League record with 22 wins. They lost 4-3 against the Kansas City Royals at home. The Indians were just 4 games away from tying the 1916 San Francisco Giants for the longest win streak in Major League history. The Indians will now push forward to the playoffs and hope for another World Series appearance.
Now it's time for a recap for our neighbors. Pitt football hosted number 8 Oklahoma State on Saturday. Oklahoma State crushed the Panthers 59-21. The Panthers fall to 1-2 on the year and will head down to Georgia Tech this weekend. The West Virginia Mountaineers improved to 2-1 on the year after defeating Delaware State by a score of 59-16. West Virginia will be traveling to take on Kansas this upcoming weekend. And lastly, Penn State moved up to number 4 in the country after defeating Georgia State 56-0. The Nittany Lions will be traveling to Iowa to take on the Hawkeyes.
Logan, it was an absolutely beautiful morning on campus this morning in Moon Township. Let's check in with Chief Weather Forecaster Morgan Nagel to see if the sun is here to stay. Morgan?
Well, the sun is here to stay, but for first, we're going to talk about Hurricane Maria. Hurricane Irma just went through the Caribbean, and now they're at the threat again with Hurricane Maria. It's currently a Category 3, and its path is going to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is currently under a state of emergency, but our thoughts and prayers will be with them. But the temperature today is 79 degrees with a high of 80 and a low of 61 with a humidity of 64 degrees. And it's supposed to stay that way, and tomorrow will be 81 degrees with a low of 60 and a 40% chance of rain. And it's supposed to stay beautiful throughout the rest of the week with highs in the mid-80s and lows in the high 60s and 50s. Back to you, Gage and Logan.
When we come back, we give you the latest update on the death of a Special Forces commander at Fort Bragg.
And President Trump is open to a rejoining the Paris Agreement. Find out more after this commercial break.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Her final exam started 10 minutes ago. She'll wake up hungover and won't remember what happened last night. Extreme behaviors have extreme costs.
President Trump is opening to stay in the Paris Accord on climate change. Secretary of State of Rex Tillerson said. This comes just hours after the White House said there would be no change in policy, and the White House denied reports that they were softening their stance on the deal. Tillerson said that they would stay in if they construct a set of terms they believe is fair. U.S. President Donald Trump will make his debut at the UN General Assembly on Tuesday.
A new law in New Hampshire decriminalizing the possession of small amounts of marijuana goes into effect Saturday. The law reduces the penalty for possession of up to 3/4 of an ounce or 21 grams of marijuana and a much smaller amount of hash. The law changes related charges from a criminal misdemeanor to a civil violation with a fine of up to $300 under the new law. This means police cannot arrest someone for a marijuana violation. The money collected will go toward alcohol and drug abuse prevention and treatment. Staff Sergeant Alexander Delita was killed in a training exercise at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. According to CBS Boston, the 32-year-old Dunstable resident was one of 8 soldiers involved in the incident that Army authorities say involved explosives. Fort Bragg Special Training Group. Commander Colonel Michael Kornberger says the Army's current priority is taking care of the Delita's family. The other 7 soldiers were injured, and the Army is currently investigating the incident. Delita was training to become a Special Forces combat engineer. He joined the Army in 2006.
NASA ended the exploration of Saturn today when the Cassini spacecraft plunged into Saturn, ending a 13-year exploration of the planet and its moons. The spacecraft discovered water on the moons Titan and Enceladus, giving NASA the feeling that they are closer to discovering alien life. Telemetry received during the plunge indicates that Cassini entered Saturn's atmosphere with its thrusters firing to maintain stability. Loss of contact with the Cassini spacecraft occurred at 7:55 a.m. with the signal received by NASA's Deep Space Network antenna complex in Canberra, Australia.
And that's all the time we have for RMU Live this afternoon.
We will see you next week.
Take care.